This particular hole is I had to move my electrical box from one side of the wall to the other, and so now we want to go ahead and fix this. And the way we do that is I went from stud to stud where the box sat, so I just went ahead, instead of cutting it down, you know, splitting the stud, which is really a pain, it's tough to do, I just went ahead and added some additional backing on with 2x2s. And just put a couple of screws in it, which gives me something to put my sheetrock on. Let's go ahead and install that and show you how this is done. So that'll fit up there. We'll put a couple of screws in each side to hold it. And the reason why this looks like it's further in is because this is on the tapered piece of the sheetrock. Okay, and most repairs I ever do that's this big, typically I will fill in this whole area with mud by the time you're done to make it so it flows nice and smooth across here. So don't be concerned if this is not out as far and flush with the outside, because by the time you're done, it will be. So we went ahead, and as before, let's just sort of coat with mud this repair. And make sure, see how hopefully you can see on the camera, this is really, you can see the sheetrock below it. You want to make sure you got plenty of mud. Be generous with it, because if you don't, you'll create a blister right here. But as long as you've got plenty of mud behind it, you'll be fine, and it will, the tape will stick just fine. Okay, we're a little light here, so let's go ahead and add a little bit more. We can scrape some off the top. Just work it around. And remember, I go roughly about an inch, inch and a half past. And so with my tape, and so I'll go ahead, I can see my joints up here and it's down here. And right here, this is usually got a seam in it. That's the center of the tape. And I just try to put the center over the joint, which is right there. You can see it bubbling out. So we apply the tape, just put it in. Apply the tape, and then I just go ahead and lightly seat it. Okay, we'll go ahead and mud this other side now. And with that big fill, it makes it a little bit more challenging. Looking at this, once again, I'm really light on the mud where it's covering the sheetrock. So just put a generous coat of mud across it. Now that we got that on there, we will get the tape, once again, about an inch, inch and a half, and let's just seat it. All right, so now we're to the point where we can sort of clean that up a little bit, and we'll go through and set the horizontal tape, and this will be good until it dries. And typically on this first coat, I let it dry overnight because you've added a lot of sheetrock mud to it, and so it takes a little bit of time. If you come in, you get a little anxious. Sometimes you cause yourself more hassle than it's worth. You'll have a tendency to make the paper start to wrinkle. And so I usually don't mess with it for 24 hours. And then after that, then you can go to your own pace and do 2-3 coats a day if you have the time. Okay, once again, we're a little light here. Okay, now we've got it all taped. Let's just put the top coat on top of the tape. Beautiful. Now let's just sort of clean it up. Okay, right there, see it? We've got a lot of mud underneath that one. I've got a wrinkle in it. I don't know if you can see that on film or not. We just pulled it out. Okay, what I try to do is on these repairs, remember we said that this is a little bit, it's not as high as what it is on this wall, but I still try to keep my mud tapered in, so when I come back through and put another coat, I'm not having to fight it. So hopefully that'll help you get going with the initial coat and also the tape and what it looks like, ready for the next coat to go on top of it. Okay, this is dried overnight. As you can see, we still have a pretty good indentation going on here. And so basically, we're just gonna take a lot of mud, fill it, somewhat feather it, then come back. We're gonna have to put 2 more coats after this coat to get this filled so that it's gonna be flush with the original sheetrock. Once again, go through, knock off your highs, knock off your straggler mud that's going to fall into your new mud. That'll help you create a clean joint. And I just start in the middle, and if you're running a lot of mud, you probably want to start from the bottom and come up. That'll save you from dropping a lot of mud on the floor, whereas we have a carpeted floor here. It's not unfinished. So I try to be a little bit more careful. Okay, go ahead and go around on the outside just to start smoothing this mud out. Pressure on the toe. Okay, smooth this mud out. Pressure on the nose. Now come back the other way. Pressure on the heel. And I want just a little bit more through here. And we're going to come right through the middle of this repair. Okay, if we can go ahead and zoom in here, I want to show you something. What we've got is, you can see the holes here. This mud is so thick in here, there's nothing really you can do about it. So don't worry about it. Leave it, because the next coat we come through is going to fill that all in. If you try to get these out, it's just called frustration. So let's go ahead and do one more swipe around. Pressure on the nose. And pressure on the heel. A little bit of a indentation. And then down through the middle. It's not perfect and you don't care. You're just trying to get that thing filled in. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and let that dry. That's going to probably take a good 24 hours. I have probably 1/8 of an inch of mud on there, trying to get that filled in and back to the same height as the original sheetrock. So stay tuned. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay, now that we're on the 3rd coat, it might even take another one because this is quite a fill. And I put a coat on earlier today just to bring this out. This is filling it pretty flush with the outside, with the original wall. And so the thing I've got, I don't know if you can see it on camera, we've got a pretty heavy fill up here, so that this transition is not abrupt. It's a very smooth transition from the patch to here. And so what we've got to do is put a coat on, see how it looks. We might have to put one more coat on. And that's the thing with patches. Typically, you can get done with 3, but if they're bad like this one was, it's going to take probably 4 coats. So let's go ahead and show you what we're doing. And so where the center is flush with the outside edges, I'm going to concentrate around the patch rather than through the original patch mark. Okay, now that we got that mud on, just come back up, pressure on the nose. That's smoothing out better than I thought it was going to. Now I'm going to come right back through. Just a little bit. We got a gap there. And this is coming together quite nice. Through the middle, and I think we're there. That looks like we're ready to paint. A little bit of sand in, get rid of some of the edges, the lines, and we're ready to paint. And that right there cost me nothing. Had the extra sheetrock, the screws, the wood, and what was already mudding and taping. That patch cost me nothing. If he's going to buy the fix kit from Home Depot or Lowe's or a hardware store, it would probably cost you 20 bucks for materials. Good luck on your adventures and your repairs. Please comment on the page. Thank you.